Hello everyone, it's me, Marine Blue Angel, and today I am finally back with Under the Stars. And we are going to continue the story of what happens on Princess Dulari, who is in the middle of this trio. She's very cute, look at her. What happens to Princess Dulari as 20th birthday celebrations slash festivities go on? She has a lot of worries on her mind as she turns a year older, as she gets closer to becoming the ruler of her kingdom. And as we have seen in the last couple of parts, she kind of learns a little bit along the way about herself and, gets to solve some mysteries that are happening around her castle where she lives with, her parents, her friends, people in the castle, etc. So today we're going to continue that journey, and instead of focusing on Mr. Ezekiel, who is her bodyguard, friend, awesome guy, we are instead going to turn to Leon, who also is her friend. I'm assuming they don't spend as much time. He is from a neighboring kingdom, if I remember correctly. And yes, we will see what awaits us if we, instead of choosing a spot where we find Ezekiel, choosing a spot where we find Leon. And I think I've got it right this time, that Ezekiel's on the left. You have his little sword here. He's like ready to fight. And then we have Leon here with his little outfit, uniform, lapels and all, looking little downcast maybe, while Ezekiel looks a little happier. And Dulari in the middle, wishing on a star or for guidance. But anyways, let's get back into it because it's been a hot minute since I've been able to play Under the Stars, and I've missed Princess Dulari. She is just so precious for this world. And I just wish her the best in life. So, we're gonna start here. If you're confused about why I just loaded in this page, see my other two videos, which, has a more start to finish, and not start to finish, like a start to finish run through of what happens before all this. But this is a defining moment in the game, in that we can either choose to watch the moon or sit by the fire. And last time I chose to sit by the fire, and that led us to Ezekiel. So this time I will watch the moon. And I have to remember what I used for Dulari's voice. It was kind of soft, so I'm going to try and remember and emulate that. What should I do? Watch the moon. Ooh, the moon. I love this background on the balcony. It's so calming and just beautiful. You can see all the stars outside. How nice. I approached the balcony of the ballroom, longing for the cold breeze of the night. To my surprise, Leon was there too, fixated on the sky. The stars were shining cheerfully like the eyes of a curious kid. Oh, there you are, Dulari. So cute. So adorable. So precious. For a moment, I thought he didn't notice me, until he spoke. The moon is beautiful, isn't it? Hello, Leon. I looked up. The round figure was soothing to the eyes, like the sight of a beautiful woman, a mother, maybe. The moon does look absolutely gorgeous here. It is. Sometimes I feel like we have some kind of connection, like it calls for me. He went silent for a moment, as if looking for words. I waited for him to continue. It reminds me of her. You remember her, don't you? Of course I do. She had pale skin just like the moon, and her smile was as bright as this light. But why did she have to be so fragile?
Leon looked down, fear casting shadows in his eyes.
Oh, poor baby. Also, by the way, I will treat these characters as like my not my actual children, but I want to hold them and protect them. I'm probably much older than they are, so this is how I'm going to. I just want to protect them. I want to mother them. My goodness, if I could. Life is so fragile, Dulari. So fragile it makes me tremble.
His hands were shaking, like he was reliving all those memories of his loss again. And there was such sadness in his voice, such loneliness. I could picture a little cub hiding itself from a scary forest, curling into a shaking ball. Oh,
No. Oh, poor little cub. I still cry when I remember. Such small text because he's whispering. Poor baby.
the wind whispered between us, its cold embrace caressing my arms. Leon's pain was just before my eyes, but I couldn't do anything. I had never lost any parents. This suffering was foreign to me as much as I wanted it not to be. As much as I wanted it to be not be.
Sometimes I insert words. I insert words where they're not supposed to be, or rearrange them. How fun! But that's right. Dulari is not in the situation where she's like lost her parents. So even though she may want to comfort Leon with some, words of understanding and support, it's kind of hard. It really is hard to, if you, are not in that exact same situation. But I'm sure Dulari will do her best to, comfort her friend.
I could only look at him, trying to figure out what I could possibly say to make him feel better. Anything would do. A sudden desire to touch him crossed my mind, but I was embarrassed and gave up on it. I lifted one of my hands, trying to overcome my shyness. But then he sighed, brushing his face with his sleeve. Oh,
Crying. Oh. I apologize for not answering your letters. It's hard to write when
I gave him a reassuring smile, lowering my hand and hiding it behind my back.
Okay, so what's that? Obviously, he's grieving, understandably, but they haven't really been in contact until Leon and his father, King Dulari, maybe something S and something maybe with 3 syllables, if not 4. Are visiting the kingdom in which Dulari resides, but they can still have a good, friendship. I love that for them.
It's okay. You're here now. I can talk to you.
Oh, Dulari's so cute with her smile.
He looked away at the horizon.
I guess you can.
The weird silence from before started to creep up again.
We should go to sleep. As he looks at you instead of down the floor. Oh, Leon. I'm gonna say it again, but I really love the art style. It is just so, I don't even know how to say it. I just love it. It's so clean also, but it conveys so much also. Look at Leon looking at us, looking at Dulari. How fun is this? Also, this background's gorgeous. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, but I really love the little sparkle stars here. I live for the sparkles. So I like that as an added touch. Everything seems pretty dreamy, which is so fun.
We should. He looked at me one last time.
Good night, Dulari. Good night, Dulari.
Good night, Leon.
So cute.
I went straight to bed, exhausted from the party. I thought that this was just going to be a normal birthday, maybe a little sadder than usual. But I was wrong. Oh, I was so wrong.
Foreshadowing. Okay. Yeah, I mean, given that we went. Oh, Jester. I forgot what voice I've given you. I didn't expect to see you so soon, Jester. How have you been? Um,
Oh, but you are a very, very indecisive princess, hmm? Would you prefer to cry crystal tears or to rejoice in simple foolishness? You just can't decide for yourself, can you? Very well. Let fate decide for you.
ominous. Okay, Jester. I will try to remember the voice I used. Oh, yes. Okay, so we're on the Moon Prince's route, aka. Oh, wait, no. Leon's route, the Moon Prince. Is he a Moon Prince? Question mark? Oh, wait, I guess he is. This would make sense if we're talking about his mother, who he says resembles the moon and whatever. This makes sense. Why am I just picking up on this? Anyways, my bad.
Hmm? Where?
Where are we? Oh, a gazebo and a fountain. Wow, it's so dreamy at night. Are we in a dream? I feel like we might be in a dream.
The gazebo. I remember this place. Water so clear would reflect the moon and the stars like a perfect mirror. The trees softly murmuring, whispering to not wake the birds. The air with a soft smell that enveloped my mind in a refreshing breeze.
Oh, maybe this is the Moon Kingdom.
This is Constellix's kingdom.
Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Wow, they're just too adorable. I'm crying.
I remember that when I visited with my parents, Leon once took me to this place. We both love stargazing, so we spent the whole night doing that in this lonely spot. I still cherish that memory so much. Huh.
Dream? Oh, it's darkness. That's not good.
From the shadows of the trees, a strange darkness started to emerge. Like a snake, it crawled through the grass, engulfing everything under its power. All life was disappearing, dying right in front of me. Soon, the moon and I were the only things remaining.
Oh, that's scary. Oh, it's ominous. I like the background though. Is this a weird nightmare? A foreboding nightmare, maybe?
The darkness started to crawl over my feet, making me panic. And then a voice echoed through the emptiness.
Question mark? Is it Jester?
Oh, Princess Dulari. It sounded so distant, but at the same time, very, very close. The world is unfair, isn't it? And for a second, I felt a warm breath on my neck. Oh! I woke up, but it was still pitch dark. A nightmare? It made sense considering all the bad feelings I was having. But I could hear faint noises coming from somewhere, like furniture being moved from one place to another. I couldn't say where exactly, but there's someone else awake? Why would they be moving furniture anyway? Oh, I hope it's just Father being weird. Or the servants preparing for tomorrow.
Does your father usually have like insomniac or something, or stays up very late and moves around things? I don't know if I asked that the last time.
I was too tired to think. To be fair, I didn't want to think. I was tired. So tired of everything.
So tired I can't read, apparently.
I just put my head on my pillow and prayed for the stars. Please, just let me sleep. Please. And as if they heard, closed my eyes and forgot everything for a while.
Oh, I'm glad they answered your prayers, Dulari. Don't you hate it though? I don't know if any of you have experienced this. When you can't sleep and you really want to sleep, it's not fun. I just had this happen to me last night, and um, let's just say that, I could have gotten a couple more hours of sleep. That would have probably good. But anyways, I'm just glad that Dulari is able to sleep. Oh, a picnic.
The next day, Father decided that it was a good idea to have a picnic. Actually, it was more like a banquet outdoors, with chairs and tables and such. We used the old stone courtyard to house the nobles while they chatted between themselves. Luckily for us, the wind was calm and the sun was in a good mood.
Ooh, how lovely.
So we were all able to enjoy the food with very much satisfaction. Oh. But in my mind, the image of the gazebo in the kingdom of Constellax was as clear as day. And as if the darkness of the dream could reach me, my mind turned gloomy. What was that exactly?
Oh, Saruva. Saruva, that was 3 syllables. Did I say Suvulri or something? Suvalri? Princess!
The lively voice of King Saruva snapped me out of my thoughts.
Are you daydreaming?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just thinking.
Huh? Oh. Why are you just assuming I'm choosing a partner right now? Anyways, I guess she's turning 20. Not me, but Dulari. There is no need to think so hard when you're choosing a partner. Just follow your heart.
It's not that simple.
Oh, believe me, it is. Sometimes what you are looking for is right in front of you. Hint, hint.
As he said this, Leon passed us by.
Oh, my bad.
As he said this, Leon passed us by, wandering like a lost ghost. What's the matter, Leon?
Come here, boy.
Leon approached, his depressed features still there.
Aren't you going to keep your good old friend company? Be a gentleman and entertain the princess for a while. I forgot what I want his voice to be. It's fine. Why don't you do that yourself? Don't be stubborn, all right? I'm doing this for your own good.
Leon shrugged, but obeyed his father anyway, sitting next to me.
That's my boy. Well, he's matchmaking, meddling, whatever.
King Saruva got up and departed to start a conversation with my mother, leaving us in silence.
I'm sorry. I have a question about this. Actually, you know what? I will save it for depending on what happens, just in case anyone didn't get to watch Ezekiel's route yet. I won't spoil anything until we'll get to see it in this route. I'll just save it for later. Did something happen? You look scared.
Am I too obvious, or is it just his star doing its thing?
Is it my father?
No. I heard weird noises last night.
It was the servants.
How did you know? How do you know?
They always make too much noise back home, especially at night.
He said it so fast that I doubted he even thought about it before responding. It may be normal back at your house, but not here. And we don't even have that many servants.
It's a special occasion. They were probably solving last-minute issues.
He wasn't even looking at me. He held a serious gaze, staring at the horizon as if unbothered. I fell silent, frustrated by his lack of attention. It was clear as day that he didn't feel like debating or lending an ear to my worries. He was probably being forced to participate in all of the celebration, just like me. I never liked the idea of trying to force someone to hear what I say anyway. Maybe I was supposed to keep things to myself after all. Deal with them alone, as per usual.
Okay. I mean, valid response to Mr. Leon not being able to give his attention to Dulari. Um, but as we already glean, as the reader, as me, the reader, the player, I can see obviously that Leon is just like, there are a lot of thoughts going on. A lot of thoughts, a lot of thinking. Um, he's obviously still grieving. And he's, I don't think because King Saruva, at least he doesn't read to me as someone who's the most supportive parent in the way that you can talk about your grief about someone. Leon has a lot on his plate. And it's obviously doesn't exactly, like, I'm not trying to like justify his actions, but I'm trying to see from his perspective, like, he is not in like probably the right space, even though he may try to be, but he's dealing with his own stuff. And Dulari, my dear girl, you don't need to deal with things alone. I do hope that they're able to talk at some point, or at least, help each other in their own ways and in their own time deal with both of their problems if they would like to do that for each other. They don't have to. But Dulari, you do not need to deal with things alone. You must talk to another person. But sometimes the person that you thought that you could talk to is also dealing with their own shit, and, here we are. So, I'm rooting for you guys, for your friendship, and all of that. But remember, you don't need to keep things to yourself. Don't deal with them alone. Talk to someone. Well, not just anyone, but talk to someone. pick a person. Pick a person who you can trust. And then remember, I don't know, my general policy is that sometimes, most of the time, things are just not that personal. Sometimes, like, in this way, I feel that, like, if I was in Dulari's shoes, given, more of what, like, I know and whatever, I may notice that, like, Leon is just, dealing with some stuff and maybe not in the right space to hear my stuff if I'm also concerned about something. And at the end of the day, I still would want to support him as a friend. And even though his actions don't help me, like, are not, like, going to support me, or, like, whatever, like, he's not able to lend an ear at this moment, I know that, like, it's nothing personal, and there's just probably a lot of things that I can't even really consider or even know, and that, like, we can still have a good friendship. It's just not good timing right now. So we're gonna see how this keeps going. Dulari, I want you to not worry, but you will, so I'll let you. I wish I could help you not worry, but here we are, and that's fine. Anyways, I'm rambling at this point, so let's see what happens. I want to see how this interaction will continue. Because look at them. Look at both of them. They're just dealing with so much.
Okay.
Oh, we just go. Okay. They're like, bye.
The rest of the morning went slowly, time flowing like a very lazy river. There were music and jokes from the jester, of course, but everything felt stagnant and tasteless. And all these strangers in my house weren't helping my mood either. I just wanted to hide myself from the world for a while. Having to pretend that everything was alright was starting to wear me out.
Yeah, that's hard.
And while I tried to keep everything inside of me, the night came without warning. The second ball of my birthday was very similar to the first one. This time, the jester delighted everyone with their acrobacies,
question mark on pronunciation.
Juggling with colorful balls. People cheered and clapped and ate, smiling together. And I pretended to be there. To be cheering, to be happy too. But Mother, she had this stiff smile on her face, her eyes fighting not to burst into crying. She was holding up pretty decently, until a faint sigh escaped her lips, tired and sad. Mom?
Wait,
Mom?
why did my voice change? Okay.
Suddenly, my mother jumped out of surprise. Yeah? Oh, I mean, yes, my daughter. I could feel her mind was elsewhere, her eyes drifting in a world of dream, longing for the end of the night. Are you okay? Yes, of course. There was such a pure sadness hidden in the color of her eyes, playing hide and seek with sincerity. I felt guilty. I wish I could help her, whatever she was feeling. But maybe it was the fact that I existed that saddened her.
Oh, Dulari, please don't do this. Oh no, my sweet child. Okay, first of all, see, look, in the previous scene, Dulari is all like, I can't talk to anyone. I shouldn't talk to anyone. I should just keep it to myself. But you can see how like kind and generous and thoughtful she is. Um, when here, particularly when she's considering that, like, hey, her like my mom's not feeling great or doesn't look great. Like she looks really sad, and I really just want to help her in whatever way, with whatever she's feeling, in whatever way I can. That really speaks to Dulari's soul and her gentleness and her kindness and consideration, etc. All the things I already said. Um, I probably said this last time, but she just jumped from like that first sentence, this first thought to the second thought, and I'm like, no, Dulari, it's not a, it's your mother. Your mother loves you. It is not that you exist that saddens her, but I know this is the theme. This is the reoccurring, like, I'm, protagonist, like, worry, so, we gotta go with it. But it's not that, my sweet Dulari. It saddens me that that she thinks that. Okay, we just gotta see what happens.
I looked down, pushing aside any further questions. When I noticed the first day of the celebration was over, everyone going back to their rooms. The servants hastily cleaned everything, already preparing for the next day. The room became empty again, just as I wanted my thoughts to be. I was not tired. Somehow I felt relieved, finally free from all that commotion, from all that people. I felt energized, like something interesting was hidden in the late hours of night when no one was looking. Maybe just the silence itself was promising. And grabbing onto that hope, I pretended I went to my room, only to get away after everyone was asleep. Unlike last night, there were no noises anymore. Maybe Leon was right. It was just the servants. I opened the door to leave my room, feeling safe to go. To my surprise, my bodyguard Ease was was sleeping next to the door, standing up. How did he do that?
I thought he was sleeping, like he laid in front of the door until I got to the end of the sentence. Until he was like laying in front of the door. My gosh, what a skill you have, Ezekiel.
Ease. How did he do that? I needed to ask him that someday. Ask him tomorrow.
I want to know. Fun fact. What are fun skills you can do? Oh, I can sleep while standing up. What a fun party trick. I mean, not party trick, but
But not now. As I continued to walk, I reached the gardens. It had a gentle smell of flowers and grass as the wind blew through the trees and bushes. It made a nice and soothing sound. But amongst all that scenery, two shadows gazed lovingly at each other. I hid myself as soon as I saw them, not wanting to disturb, not wanting to get involved. But the night was so silent, almost as if it wanted me to hear them. Saruva. Wait, is that Mother?
Vendashi.
That's my mom's name. It's almost weird hearing it. She put her head on his shoulder, sighing. Oh. And they stayed like that for a whole minute.
Is everything okay?
I never thought King Saruva could say such things with softness in his voice. It was almost like my ears were brushed by feathers. He caressed her back up and down slowly, as if consoling a child or a mourning wife. Soon I started to hear low sobs. I don't want to leave you. I forgot. Whatever. This is the voice we're using now. She was a little softer earlier. I can't cry right now, so I can't pretend to cry. You don't need to. Saruva. For a moment, there was only the wind. He's acting weird. Doesn't he always? When I'm around you, he acts weird. He starts to ask about what we talked about. He's jealous. She slowly embraced him into a hug.
He's starting to suspect.
Are they talking about father?
Oh, Saruva. He's going to find out if we continue to go on like this.
There is such sadness in her voice.
So, is this the end?
They stayed silent for what felt like hours. She detached herself from the hug painfully. Their arms were still holding each other until they slipped into just holding hands. And finally, they were apart.
I'm sorry. Are you really going to leave me? His pained voice shot through the air, silently but firm.
His pained voice shot through the air, silently but firm.
Saruva, we need to forget this. But you're the love of my life. There is nothing in this world I want more than to stay with you for as long as possible. There's not a single day I spend without thinking about you. There's not a moment in my life I don't want to travel back here. Now that I'm finally free, you tell me to forget you. Like that is even possible. Please, don't make this any harder than it already is. I love you, Vindashi. I can't love anyone else. Please, Saruva. Runs away. She's doing the hard thing. Okay. She
turned around, leaving in a hurry before her heart made her change her mind.
Dashi.
Saruva stood there, very still. The night breeze wandered through the garden, filling the silence that stayed. For a moment, it looked like that was going to be it. The loss of such tender love. It was like loneliness, but even worse. I felt my heart sink, a depressing numbness taking over my soul. I stood up and prepared to leave, tucking that sad moment into my memories. But then I heard.
You're going to regret that.
He wasn't talking to me. He stood still in the place he was a moment ago, looking at the direction my mother went. But something was completely different. The soft-spoken voice of King Saruva was gone. It was threatening, giving me chills, and I knew it wasn't from the night breeze. There was something broken in him, deeply in his heart, a hatred that had waited a long time to free itself. He stormed out, leaving me alone with my thoughts. There was this unnerving feeling crawling under my skin, left by his presence. I was scared. For the second time in 2 days, I was deeply scared. That darkness from my nightmare felt closer and closer, and there was nothing I could do about it.
Ooh, okay. So, this is kind of that scene. That scene is more or less the same from what I played before in Ezekiel's route. So, Dulari's mom had this thing with King Suvari. Oh my god, was his name Saruva? Saruva. I was like, it's not Suvari. I keep saying that because it's Dulari. Saruva. And like, yeah, I know, like arranged marriages of convenience for political purposes. Yes, they had to deal with that. That is something that, like, their connection, their love, you know, you know, had to was torn from them basically. But Dulari's mom is the queen is making a very she's I'm sure she's taking in consideration like what would it mean if she got together with King Saruva. You know, what impacts would that have not only on herself, even though that would be something that she would love to do, but like what about her child and her husband and the kingdom, whatever, like all these things that like, her life revolves around. Um I want to see how that will kind of shake out at the end of this route. One thing I want to say that I had thought about earlier is that King Saruba is trying to get Leon to partner with Dulari, from what I understand, like, whatever, political alliances and all that. When he himself, had to do with that, like, deal with that. And, obviously he didn't really have. He had maybe a different type of love for his late wife, but maybe not the same as what he has for Dulari's mom. But my question is, if you're trying to if he's trying to partner them up, and like just say that like King Saruba and Dulari's mom got together, wouldn't that make them have siblings? I don't know. Like that's like, I mean, whatever. This is kind of funny because this is like the second time in a while, in more recently, that I'm running into like potential half brother half sibling situation. I was playing a different game, which I won't get into here, but I want to know where that thought process fully thought out. Like, was that thought fully thought out? I don't know, like on King Saruba's part, because he's the one who knows that it seems like I read him as pushing Leon to partner, like be the partner, choosing the partner sorry, being the partner of Dulari, that like whom she chooses and whatever. So he knows that. Dulari's mom doesn't know that, or is less likely to know that, or at least have that particular motivation. But so it's like really King Saruva who's like, yes, get with, my son, your daughter, go together, and then we go together. How is that supposed to work? On a technicality, like, again, I guess they wouldn't technically be like related, but they would be. Which is a little funny, like in the sense that I just didn't expect that. But anyways, we'll sweep that until later. We'll see how the route ends.
The next day, I woke up with no dreams, only the memory from last night lingering in my head. Still lying down on my bed, I wondered how long they had been hiding. How did it start? When did they notice they were in love? I myself had to confess that I never noticed anything. If it wasn't for last night, I would never know. And that idea made me a bit sad, thinking about how many things happen without us noticing. Precious things like sweet whispers at the end of the night. Mother. She must feel very lonely now, but I couldn't console her. How could I? I've been alone my whole life. I was used to it, like a second nature. Maybe my first and definitive one, actually. And trying to help her would mean that I would have to tell her I saw what happened, and I wasn't really prepared to see her reaction. Also, there was still that thing with King Saruva, that last whisper. You're going to regret that. What did he mean by that? If he really meant something other than his own pain.
Okay, that means, I mean, whatever. That he has a plan. He's a man of action, so we're gonna see what that means later on.
I have a bad feeling about this. Oh well, there wasn't much use to worrying about it right now. It's not like I could do something about it yet. Oh, I hope breakfast is a bit calmer today at least. I went outside, hoping to go to the bathroom to pour some cold water on my face to help me wake up properly. But as I turned it to a corner, I spotted the jesters sitting on the parapet, smiling like the fool they were.
Happy birthday! I don't remember the voice. I've already forgotten the voice I used while recording. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday, princess! Today's like such a fine day, isn't it? Oh, good morning. Oh,
Good morning, Jester.
still yawning. You're such a night owl, princess.
Are you a morning person?
I'm an all-times person. How else am I going to be prepared to entertain the royalty? Sometimes people demand my services very late in the night.
Late in the night? How so?
You see, my dear, beloved princess, unlike you, who has never broken your heart, there are people who have to share their affections with more than one person against their wishes.
Huh? Are they talking about...
Oh, it can't be.
I felt like the Jester noticed my reaction because their smile grew a little bit.
Oh, but you already know that, don't you?
How about star-crossed lovers? I gulped. Did they spot me hearing the conversation? But I did not see them.
You shouldn't read books so much, dear princess. Those pretty little stories will delude your innocent heart.
The jester suddenly turned upside down, walking with their hands on the parapet. After all, nobles don't marry for love, do they? Royalty are like cats. They have big whiskers and love to play with shiny things. Oh. They got up again, looking at me. Don't look so sad, oh beloved princess. Cats are beautiful creatures. Take my advice. Life is not a fairy tale to be written in books. Why should I take advice from a fool? Who is it to distinguish a fool from a wise man? Sometimes idiots can see foolishness in everything but themselves. I wish you a nice day, princess. See you around.
Runs away with their hands on the floor, doing some handstands. Okay, I will, this just shows that I will forget the next time I see the jester what voice I use, so it's just going to be different voices each time. You know what? That is part of the jester's charm. They just use a whole bunch of different voices each time people see them, and it's confusing. So it's fine.
There's more to them than meets the eye. I wish I knew what exactly. The way they spoke, they must know about something. Or maybe they're just fooling around. Who is it to distinguish a fool from a wise man? Just who?
Ooh, I haven't seen this background. The dining room. Or maybe I have and I've forgotten. But I feel like I haven't seen these chairs.
Later that morning, the king gathered everyone for lunch. The nobles started drinking to pass the time, and soon everyone was either a bit or very drunk. I ended up sitting at a table in the corner with the few people who weren't completely wasted. And by that, I mean me, my mother, a few other nobles, and Leon. He was especially quiet, considering how his father was singing his heart out in the center of the room. We ate very silently compared to our noisy companions who were laughing extremely loud and spinning in a very clumsy way. When we were done, my mother excused herself and the other nobles followed her, leaving me alone with Leon. He looked at his father, a hint of shame dancing in his eyes, but he was incapable of doing anything other than glaring.
What is his problem?
Seeing him like this only made me worry more about telling him about what happened last night. Even so, I felt like I had to. It was my mother's life that was in danger.
I mean, I'm glad we're telling someone. I feel like Dulari's 20 and she... whatever. I feel like I would tell my mom. Yes, it's kind of awkward. It's yeah, Mom, sorry. I, totally eavesdropped on you and your lover breaking up. But, I'm more... you can be mad at me about that, but I'm more concerned that at the end, it looked like he was threatening your life. Or he promised to, put your life in danger. So, there's that.
He also deserved to know. I could never hide something that big from Leon after all. Leon.
Mm.
He did not look at me right away, too bothered by the sight of his father. Looking away, I gathered all my courage to speak. I need to talk to you. He slowly turned to me.
Okay. Where are we going? We're going to go outside?
We did not exchange any words on the way. Our doubt was dead silent.
Our goodness.
Our walk was dead silent, but my head was filled with worry and doubt. I wasn't sure what to say, or if he was even going to believe me. Or worse, what if he hated me for telling him? He was already so shocked by the loss of his mother, and here I was about to tell him that maybe his father wasn't the loving man he always knew. Leon was my first friend, the first one to see me as equal, as a person, and I didn't want to lose that. Should I hide the truth for his sake? He never seemed very close to King Saruva, but this was on a whole nother level.
I mean, I vote we tell him the truth. Just, FYI.
Ugh. When we reached the gardens, we sat on a very rustic bench. There was silence for a while more while I tried to find the right words. Oh, Leon. He just stared at me, waiting for me to continue. Is your father... I was fidgeting with my fingers. Do you think your father loves someone?
Huh? Excuse me?
I felt embarrassed, my whole face getting red. That question must have sounded weird. It's just... Oh,
The cute blushy Dulari. So cute.
He looked into my eyes. I knew he was using his star's blessing to try to guess what I was thinking.
Dulari?
Well, I looked down, fearing his reaction. I saw your father last night. He was talking to someone he loves. For a while, Leon stared at me blankly, as if I was invisible or his eyes were blind. But then he spoke again, weirdly calm.
Huh. You're saying that he has a lover?
Well, that...
I know.
That took me by surprise, making me lift my head. You do?
My father never really loved my mother. I never needed a star to notice that. Ugh. You're right. Commentary from me is saying that, kids notice a bunch of things. Just because they're kids doesn't mean anything. And then, obviously now Leon and Dulari, I'm assuming, are about the same age, if not the same age. But even though they're, they've just passed their adolescence and teen years, growing up as kids, kids notice a bunch of things. You can't hide that, especially, your relationship and how you treat, these two, they're guardians, they're parental figures, and how they, interact with each other. Kids notice that. So he's known this entire time. And he's never even needed his star to notice that. And I don't remember what the star means, except that he's more intuitive, ? Probably. Oh. I think anyone can see how happy he is, even though she was gone just some months ago. I don't think the fact that he has a lover is surprising at all.
The way he said those words, it felt so deeply saddening. I couldn't imagine how hurt he must have felt. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not your fault.
It kinda is. His lover is my mother after all, but...
I mean, Dulari. Her those are her actions, and those are his actions. They're not your actions, but, oh, sweet precious Dulari. caring for Leon.
I couldn't help but feel responsible. The guilt was strangling me. What if I had just destroyed... What if I had just destroyed the last family tie he had? Leon noticed my worries, probably because of how sad my eyes looked.
I'm going to say it again. It's not your fault.
Well, yes, but his lover was not the only thing I saw. They actually broke up last night.
Really?
It was her choice. But your father said she was going to regret that. And he said it with such hate, it gave me goosebumps. Leon, I have a bad feeling about this. I think your father, he's going to do something. My voice trailed off, incapable of saying anything else.
Huh. So that's why he... Huh. As you may know, I can see people's feelings in their eyes. Okay, thank you for clarifying it for me, the reader, but Dulari already knew that. My father woke up with a very strange gaze today. There was anger, grudge, hate. He's surrounded by a vengeful aura. I've only seen him like this one other time. And it means he's plotting something. Okay, what did your father do before? Tell me the backstory.
Huh? So, that means she is in danger?
I don't want to say she is, but there is a possibility.
What if he tries to hurt her?
Dulari, answer me one thing. Do you know the identity of my father's lover?
I do.
I see. I won't ask who it is. Because you seem to care about her. But yes, we need to stop Father before this gets out of control.
We looked down. There was a silence that sat between us, the seriousness of the situation burdening our minds. All of this was incredibly overwhelming. While I wanted to lay down and sleep for a while, my mind couldn't help but stay hypervigilant. There were so many emotions wandering in my mind that I didn't know what to feel exactly. Then I felt a hand on my shoulder.
Dulari.
Leon was looking at me very seriously, with a hint of concern.
Thank you for telling me. Oh, cute little smile. Oh, precious children. Look at them. Ah, my goodness. I swear on my name that I won't let anything happen to this woman, whoever she is. You have my word.
Leon.
Oh, we love that.
He had a shy smile on his face.
I'm really glad you told me. It means you trust me enough to be completely honest. There are many people in these courts, but most of them will just flatter me or tell me to toughen up. You aren't like that. And I'm really happy that even after all those years, you consider me close enough to tell me bitter truths.
His eyes sparkled with sincere happiness, making me blush. I was also happy to have him next to me, especially if I could make him smile like that. I'm glad to have you too.
Oh, they were so cute. Oh my god, the illustration, the CG was so cute. Oh my god. Tea break real quick.
I don't think I could ever bear losing your friendship.
Blush. Oh my gosh. Ah, so cute. Look at them. Ah, look at them being cute. Look. Ah. Okay, Leon's being very adorable. Well then, we should get back. Oh, it was a fleeting moment of blushy.
We should.
I'll try to talk to my father to calm him down before the night comes. It shouldn't be that hard.
Thanks. He looked at me for a while.
Try to rest. You seem to need it.
Is it your star saying that?
No one needs a star to notice a tired person. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right, Leon.
Fair. And for a second, I saw a faint smile on Leon's face, like a small flame illuminating the world.
Oh, small flame illuminating the world. Oh, beautiful imagery.
After that, I went to my room. He was right. I was really tired. I rested on my bed, gazing at the wall for a short while, until a short nap interrupted my vigilance. Oh. Huh? After that, I went to my room.
Oh. Oh, it like the scene doubled, but that's okay.
I heard a faint sound in my room and I opened my eyes.
Oh, dear, you were here. I was just looking for you.
What is it? Did something happen?
Oh, nothing special. It's just that one of my rings went missing. Without it, I cannot make decrees, so I need to find it as soon as possible. Father, how could you lose one of your rings? Should that be kept in like an important box or something, like in a room? I love that. I love that we're seeing Dulari's father.
Did you look in your room?
I actually started by the throne room, and I still have some ground to search. How about this? I search the throne room while you look through my room. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Oh, thank you. I'll continue the search right away.
He left, leaving me alone again. Ah, this nap gave me a little bit of energy, indeed. I felt more motivated, and with that boost, I went to my father's room. My parents' room was organized as usual. It still amazed me how father could keep losing things.
Oh, so he does this constantly.
Maybe because he was not the one who organized it? Anyway, let's look for this ring.
Look at the bed.
Ah, this looks comfy. I started searching, and searching, and searching, but there's no ring here. Tissues, a piece of cloth, but no ring. Huh, some pencils, a diary, but no ring. Huh. While I was searching, a strange thing dropped on the floor. I grabbed it for a closer inspection, and then I realized it's a juggling ball.
Okay, random.
The only person this could belong to is the jester. But why would they leave a juggling ball right here? They're not even allowed to enter the private rooms. This is weird. I kept the ball just in case. But even though the item emanated a jolly aura with its bright colors, the only thing I could feel was a growing uneasiness. Was the jester here? What were they doing here? Were they the one who... No, I can't judge people so fast. Not without proof. I would sound delirious this way.
I mean, the jester was up to something earlier when we encountered them, and I'm not saying we shouldn't have proof, but I'm concerned, why would their juggling balls be in the private rooms of your parents when they're not supposed to enter the private rooms at all?
Still, something's wrong with it. I continued to search the room, but no luck. The ring was not here. I sighed and looked out. The sun was already setting, and soon it would be my birthday. The supermoon would finally rise. Remembering that, I unconsciously touched the star in my tiara, the gift my father gave me when I was just a little girl, 10 years ago. He said the star would guide me when I felt the world was being torn apart. It was supposed to be on my forehead because that's where we touch when we're worried. He was right. It really was. Oh, I'm scared. Anything could happen tonight. What if it was something bad? No, I couldn't keep being this afraid. I had my star after all. It would guide me through this darkness. And I also had Leon. He said he was going to do everything in his power to stop his father. Yes, I wasn't completely lost. There was a chance. But before I could elaborate any further, a servant appeared in the room. Princess Dulari, we're looking for you. You need to get ready for the ball. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm coming. I hoped everything would turn out all right.
I'm doing a lot of breathy voices, breathier, softer voices right now.
An hour later, we all gathered in the courtyard to watch the moon rise. The nobles surrounded my lonely figure, creating a big circle around me. Some of them excited, some of them emotional, but I could see tense faces popping up here and there. After all, anything could happen under a full moon. My mother stood in front of me, preparing herself to speak. On this day, under this very same sky, you were brought to the world by the stars. She had a sad and distant smile on her face, like she was reliving those memories again. I remember like it was yesterday, your shrill cry echoing all around the castle. Like you knew the fate you were born upon, which star had blessed you. I gave you that name, Dulari, not by accident. It means, in the language of our ancestors, beloved child. Your star may give you this terrible loneliness, but it will never be because of hate. I will always love you, my dear child, until the end of my life. My mother approached me, giving me a hug. The nobles clapped, cheering and agreeing. I returned the hug, almost didn't notice when tears started to fall from my eyes. Beloved child, that was the meaning of my name. Somehow, that fact alone made me want to cry. My parents loved me so much. I was overwhelmed by their kindness every day. I really wish I wasn't born under that curse, so I could make their happiness complete.
Ah, Dulari. Now, it is time for our king to speak.
The nobles clapped, excited to hear the words from the king. They clapped once, twice, but the king didn't appear.
Where is he? Is he preparing something?
The courtyard suddenly got tense. No one knew where my father was, nor why he was missing such an important moment.
It's his daughter's birthday. Where is he?
The nobles started whispering between themselves, and my mother started to worry.
Servants, search for the king and tell him to come immediately.
Yes, Queen.
Where is the jester? Okay, not the jester again. My goodness. I mean, not that I don't love the jester as a character, but I'm saying that because I don't remember what voice I gave them like 10 minutes ago.
From a corner hidden behind a bush, the jester popped up, smiling as usual. Did you call me, my fairest queen?
Oh, thank goodness.
Could you please entertain the guests while we look for the king?
But of course. Wow, these are going to be a lot of voices for me to rotate through. Anyways.
They approached the center where I was still standing, their smile growing wider and wider, like they were trying to hold a big laugh. My, don't look so worried, my wondrous aristocrats. I can guarantee that the king is closer than we think.
He is, in fact, only preparing himself to come here and take his place.
Take his place?
But of course, his ultimate opportunity to show how much he appreciates you, my beloved princess. How many times he wished for this moment, this very moment, for these specific conditions.
Conditions?
Oh, but you do make a very pretty parrot, princess.
Hey!
Don't get me wrong. I mean it with the utmost sincerity.
After that last joke, the nobles laughed and calmed down a bit, all attention dissipating. That left me with only one last worry. Jester.
Oh, is this a dream? Is the princess really calling out to me? Oh.
They made an exaggerated pose as if in complete disbelief. I ignored their antics and showed them the juggling ball. Is this yours? Where did you find that, my dear princess? Their voice was suddenly darker, which made me shiver all the way up. In my parents' room. Huh. Curious, aren't you? Curious like an innocent kitten. They looked down, as if pondering something, and they looked back at me, still smiling. They made a signal for me to come close, and whispered next to my face. Want to know a secret, princess? I can use dark magic.
Dulari! Wow, that was a complete, like, in the moment change.
Before I could react, a great darkness escaped from the jester's hand, flowing in all directions, drowning everything under its power. Suddenly, I was very sleepy. I couldn't even keep my eyes open. The last thing I heard was the jester's laugh, echoing in the void, into the void.
Dulari!
I'm smelling roses?
Dulari!
Huh?
Dulari!
Leon was the only thing I could see, holding desperately on to me. He had kneeled down and was trying to wake me up by shaking my shoulders. Leon!
Oh, Dulari. Thank heavens.
As I tried to stand, he hugged me tight, maybe out of relief, maybe out of panic. Even so, his warmth was comforting and his embrace enjoyable. He had this soft smell of roses, probably from walking through the gardens of Constellax. His cheeks were just as soft, like rose petals. I started to feel a bit self-conscious thinking that. I tried to change the subject. What happened? I looked around. The whole courtyard was silent. The moon watched everyone on the ground, apparently sleeping like I was before. Leon loosened his grip on me, looking down with shame.
The jester cast a sleeping spell on everyone. They disappeared into thin air, so I don't know where they went.
Of all people, the jester did something like that. My eyes looked away, confused as I tried to process all the details.
I'm sorry, Dulari. I should have predicted. That jester, they...
Guilt glistened in his eyes while his voice trailed off. I couldn't tell why. As usual, his emotions were as difficult to read as torn tarot cards. With that said, I sighed, half of me sad, and the other determined to make something work. How? I did not know, to be honest. I couldn't ignore those sad eyes of his. My heart felt stabbed every time I saw him like that.
Oh, you care for your friend. I love that.
I wanted to help him, or at least make him worry less.
I need to find them.
Let's go then. He looked at me with confusion.
You want to come too?
Yes, I want to help you. He stared at me for a long minute, completely silent. Even though I had known him for years, that time it felt particularly strange. His gaze was filled with a kind of amusement, like he had waited years to say those words, but then someone ended up saying them to him. His lips tried to hide a laugh, and suddenly he was the cutest thing in the world. Oh,
Cutesy. Cute.
I felt forced to look away, feeling weirdly shy. Leon also looked away, almost as if he was embarrassed too. And then he finally answered.
As you wish. I love this. I love this line. Okay. Oh my gosh.
The whole castle was very silent. Leon and I walked side by side, separated by silence. He still had that strange guilt in his eyes, while I was growing tense again from the sudden turn of events. Where was my father? Was the jester involved in this? But why? There were too many questions and not enough answers. I gave up trying to calm my doubts, letting them float on my mind unanswered. The moonlight washed the corridors in a pale shade of gray. Oh. What are we going to do when we find them?
Huh?
I've never used magic. Not even once? Before I could feel any shame, he took something from inside his fancy uniform. It was a talisman.
Use this. It's going to protect you from dark magic. That's how I didn't go to sleep like the other nobles.
But what about you?
I can protect myself.
From magic? He looked away, hiding his face.
You don't need to worry so much about me, Dulari. I can take care of myself. In any case, he would never do anything to me.
He paused abruptly, as if he had said a secret out loud. He? Then we heard noises. Leon ran ahead of me. I followed, gripping the talisman to feel a bit more safe.
I didn't know we could use... Okay, wait. I don't know why... For some reason, I was like, yeah, it's just dark magic that exists in the world, but there's regular magic. Sorry, I just forgot. Ezekiel doesn't use magic, so I didn't think about that.
After going a little further, we found the source, the jester's room.
Stay outside. I'm going in.
I looked at him full of worry, but he tried to do his best to ignore me. Leon opened the door without any fear, like he knew exactly what and who was on the other side. His voice echoed with anger.
Saruva!
Through a crack in the door, I could see King Saruva. I immediately crouched, fearing he would spot me, but this wasn't the case.
Oh, my son! Right on time as per usual. What did you do to the king? Nothing. He's just sleeping.
He pointed to my father, who was laid on the floor unconscious. I had to hold in a gasp.
Now, would you calm down for a bit? You're always so intense when you talk to me. Where's that sweet boy that sang lullabies for his mother?
Leon glared at him, completely silent.
That's better. What is happening? Oh heavens! I thought this day would never come. Saruva laughed with excitement. What should I tell you first? What should I tell you first? Oh, I know. When a man loves a woman, he starts to feel things he didn't before. Excuse me? Are you still drunk, father?
I covered my face, feeling embarrassed by that sudden change of topic.
I'm serious. He seeks her presence all the time. He makes sacrifices to be with her. He gets all stupid and stuff. Because that's what love does to a man. He wants to protect her from all the bad things in the world. He wants to keep her all to himself. And for that, well, for love, a man would do anything in his power to be with her for the rest of his life. Is this about the affair you're having? Wait, you know about that? You are sure much more cleverer than I expected. But yes, I'm in love with the queen, even if she doesn't see the true value of our love. Well, she doesn't see it yet. The queen?
Leon's voice was distant, slightly shocked. Yes, that was the other part of the truth that I didn't tell him. He didn't have much time to react, though, as Saruva laughed, pointing to the ground.
See this ritual circle, Leon. This is dark magic, this is dark magic, the power of Mother Night herself. Something I knew before you were born, and something I hope one day you'll learn too.
Leon just stared at him. His father ignored the silence.
Now, the king of this castle is already inside of it. I should not keep him waiting, right? He already knows that I love his wife. That's why she doesn't want wants to see me anymore. But it doesn't need to be this way. If she wants to be in this kingdom, I won't stop her. I will accept her decision. But who said the king needs to be him? I will take his place. And then finally luck will smile upon me.
My father, who was laid on the ground, started to wake up to the sound of Saruva's voice.
Where am I? Oh, Karkaris. Long time no see. What, Saruva? But what are we doing here? We're here because you're a disrespectful bastard, I'll tell you that.
Saruva smiled wickedly, to my father's complete confusion.
You lost your lady and then sank into life promis- promiscuity, promiscuity, and vagrancy. I forget how to say this word. Then you came to my kingdom and tried to steal my wife in my very own castle. You were my longtime friend. You thought you would get away with it so easily. What are you talking about, Saruva? Playing dumb. All right, that's fine. Leon's expression changed. I never planned to make you understand either way. Saruva started to cast an enchantment, making the lines on the ground shine. Before I could realize what I was doing... Oh.
Saruva started to cast an enchantment, making the lines on the ground shine. Before I could realize what I was doing, I screamed, running into the room. No, father!
What? The princess is awake. Dulari?
Stop this! Stop! Stay away from him!
Huh. I wasn't expecting that. To think I was really looking forward to having you as my daughter-in-law. I'll just find another one. Darkness started to grow from Saruva's hand,
taking the form of a great ball of shadows, and he pointed it at me.
Dulari!
After that, everything happened too fast. The darkness was going to reach me, but then there was an impact. Someone took the blow. Even so, the void engulfed the body and ran into me, and then I felt everything inside me grow numb and distant. Huh? Am I dreaming?
Yeah, gotta see someone important.
Is there someone here? Hello? I approached the light with slow steps, cautiously, and I recognized the figure. It was a star. My star. The one who brought me to the world on this very same day 20 years ago. It looked entertained, gazing at the ground, like a little kid watching the fish in a river. Seeing it so peacefully spending their time made my heart sink into my chest. It was this star that made me feel so miserable after all these years. It was almost revolting. Tears threatened to flow out of my eyes. Why? I continued to watch the ground as if I wasn't there. Oh, star of solitude, why did you cast such a terrible destiny upon me? Why did you make me be alone for the rest of my life? Why did you push love away from me? For a moment, I thought the star wouldn't react, but then it stared at me blankly for a long time, until finally it stood up, revealing its really short stature, and said, Who are you talking to? I was shocked. Was it mocking me? But then they continued, I am no star of solitude. I'm the star of power. The destiny I casted upon you was to find your love your own way. I never pushed anything away from you. Time and space were granted to your hands. Friendship is built by your words. Destiny is the end of your choices. You are your own fate. Does that mean all this time I got it all wrong? But the loneliness... I was destined to be alone from the start, wasn't I? Men fear powerful women. They say it's your destiny to be alone, when it's actually their fear of your independence. You don't need to worry about that, my child, for these cowards deserve none of your time. Embrace your power, and powerful people shall come to you. People who are not afraid to reach for the stars. The little star looked at me, a playful smile on their lips. You are not alone. A knot formed into my throat, tears starting to slide through my cheeks. I am not alone. Thank you. The star giggled, satisfied with the effect of their words. Anytime. Now go and use that power you've always had. I nodded, a bit nervous, and I felt I was being pulled back.
I will say, I've already read the scene before, but I really love this scene. I love the Dulari star or power interaction. It's a great reminder, you know? I mean, obviously, this is a little game with a little story, but it really does apply to real life that, you have a lot of power. You decide what your fate is, you decide what to do every day. And, if you're not happy with something, there are small ways you can change. There are small things you can do that can change everything. And I'm really glad that Dulari got to hear this message from her star, the star of power, and that they were able to deliver that message. It's such a beautiful message. So, let's see what Dulari does with that as we return to consciousness, hopefully.
The star became more and more distant until I finally opened my eyes again to face my fears, my insecurities, in King Saruva. I woke up in the same room. This time, however, everything was a bit more silent than before. Leon was passed out in front of me. It was then I realized that he was the one who tried to protect me. Leon! His face was pale and his body was limp. I almost couldn't feel the natural warmth of a living creature. Was he dying?
What have you done to my son?
Darkness violently grew from Saruva's hand, taking the form of a sword. He pointed it at me, his face full of rage.
He should be immune to darkness. His mother made sure he was. What did you do to him?
Again, King Saruva swung his sword, and the shadows from his heart manifested into a ball that was aimed directly at me. My mind was racing in complete panic. I didn't know how to defend myself, nor how to use magic. But suddenly, a thought started to fill my mind. Light! Just as the moon would scare Mother Night to her slumber. Some slumber, and the stars would shine to protect the living. The only way I could fight the darkness was if I was able to cast light.
I really like this imagery, this like analogy, at the beginning of the sentence. It's really nice. Beautiful writing. Go, Dulari, go. Go, Dulari, go.
I shut my eyes, screaming with all my might. Star of power, give me your light. The darkness from Saruva tried to reach me, but before it could, my tiara and the talisman started to shine. The light from them cut the darkness in half, and then dissolved both halves into nothing but memories.
What?
It felt as if lightning was running through my veins, not as painfully as I imagined, but still uncomfortable. I looked at Saruva, my whole body trembling. He was shocked, but in his eyes his anger was just as strong as before.
Do you think you could face me just because you can cast some petty light? I am a sorcerer. Your power could never... Ooh.
Then I heard a loud thud, followed by Saruva's body falling to the ground. My father had hit Saruva over the head with a chair. Father, are you okay?
I am, but I think you should worry more about him. Sorry, his face, he just says it so matter-of-factly. I love that. Okay, father. Woohoo.
He pointed to Leon on the ground, completely still. I approached the unconscious boy and tried to shake his body, but there was no response. Tears started to escape from my eyes. Was he going to die? I didn't want him to die. I had so many things I wanted to share with him. So many things I wanted to enjoy with him. I grabbed his light body and hugged it, leaning over him. My father watched the scene, already in mourning silence. I touched Leon's forehead with mine, only one last wish remaining. Please don't go. Please, don't leave me. I don't want to be alone again. My sobs were timid, echoing through the silent night like passing rivers. Leon's skin was feeling colder and colder, the life almost completely gone from him. But as the stars had heard my prayer, my tears and the pendant of my tiara started to shine again. The light spread through Leon's skin, engulfing him, and for a while it was like his whole body was made of stars. I watched as slowly the light went out, leaving Leon behind, apparently the same as before, until his eyelashes fluttered and he started to wake up.
Dula, Dular, Dulari.
A smile spread on my face, my tears flowing way more than before. He was alive! Alive! Leon!
What happened? Are you okay? Did my father... Why are you crying?
Oh, I thought I had lost you forever. I thought I had lost you forever. I hugged him tight and he just sat there, frozen and confused, and for a moment it was like nothing else mattered in the world. After a while, he finally relaxed a bit.
I think this means you're okay.
Then Leon spotted his father laying on the ground. He paused before asking,
Is he dead?
I distanced myself to look at King Saruva, my father approaching the body.
Just unconscious. Ah, I see.
As much as he tried to hide his relief, the sigh he let out was revealing enough. It was his father after all, but soon after that, Leon lowered his eyes.
I'm sorry for all of this mess. I put you all in danger.
Hearing that, I shook my head, giving him a smile.
And Dad's also smiling.
On the contrary, it was your talisman that saved me. You saved me. My father offered him a hand, and Leon looked at it with astonishment.
You can't blame the children for the mistakes of their parents. I'm glad our father, Dulari's father, gets that. Thank you. And I know you are a good kid.
He apprehensively stared at my father, wavering in doubt, before taking his hand, standing up.
Thank you, sir.
After that, we all stared back to King Saruva, completely still on the ground.
I don't know much about what happened, but I'm a bit sad. I never thought he would betray me like this.
Leon and I exchanged glances, wondering if it was a good idea to talk to him about his affair with the queen. But before we could continue any further, we saw a shadow running out of the room. I almost couldn't see them in the darkness, but the colors of their clothes were indistinguishable. The jester! They ran so fast that even before I finished saying that line, their shadow had already disappeared into the corridor, and with them, the motivation for their actions, all of the secrets they must have known, were gone. While King Saruba had a very clear reason for his actions, I still couldn't put my finger on why the jester had agreed to help him. Anger? Fear? Money? Maybe that would remain a secret forever. It had been a long night. Soon enough the guards started to wake up just as the nobles did. Everyone was confused, but as the king explained everything, all the nerves started to calm down. A bit. The guards arrested King Saruba, and while they tried their best to find the jester, they were nowhere to be found. We decided to leave the rest of the investigation to the guards, and we resumed my birthday celebrations that night. After all, I was so mentally tired that I couldn't think of anything other than laying on my bed and sleeping.
The festivities continue, though.
A few days later, the nobles that came for my birthday prepared to leave. The atmosphere was still a bit weird from the previous events, but somehow everyone managed to keep their spirits high. Sitting on a bench, I watched as their servants packed the carriages, the wind blowing softly through the trees of the castle.
Who's saying that? So, you're 20 now. I mean, assuming it was Leon. Okay.
Leon sat by my side, wearing his usual calm expression. Yeah. We stayed silent for a moment until he spoke again.
Welcome to the world of adults, I guess.
If this is the world of adults, I prefer to be a child. He laughed, but I knew that after everything that happened, he agreed. What will happen to your kingdom now that your father, well...
Oh, you have a brother, great. I was like, are you next in line, my dude? I was wondering why your brother wasn't here. I think my brother will take care of everything. He was already doing that, actually, since my father put him in charge of the kingdom's affairs. So I think nothing will really change. That's good, I guess. Like, it's good there was already a plan, and, there won't be upheaval in the kingdom because King Saruva was ready to. I mean, I guess he was kind of already planning that if he was just planning to switch bodies with Dulari's father. Like, to have one of his sons take over.
Ah, and what about you?
Me?
Yeah, what are you going to do now? He stared blankly at the road, pondering his options.
I think I need to go back.
He avoided looking at me for a while. He knew we were both saddened about it. Then I remembered something. Oh, right, the talisman. I kept it with me since the incident, the shiny silver chain holding a beautiful moonstone. I took it off my neck and offered it to him. He eyed and took it, a sad tone painting his eyes. He caressed the moonstone with a melancholic nostalgia.
Did you know it was my mother who gave me this?
Oh, really?
Yeah. She said it was to protect me from my father. She always knew that he was a dark magic user.
He looked away, thoughtful.
But she loved him even so. Her eyes had this never-ending sparkle every time she saw him. I never understood how she could keep loving him, knowing it was unrequited. That's just how love works, I guess. It never truly ends if you're willing to nurture it. Yep. Ugh, that line. Ugh. It never truly ends if you're willing to nurture it. Such a good line. And true.
His blue eyes glanced at me, locking onto mine with a weird mixture of sadness and hope. Meanwhile, every fiber of my being was begging my heart to make him stay. We stared at each other for a long minute, speechless.
Oh, blushy, blushy, blushies.
Until Leon started to fidget.
Your eyes. What do you see, Leon? What do you see in Dulari's eyes? Tell her.
I blushed hard. Ah, I forgot he can read what I'm feeling. I immediately avoided eye contact, looking away, trying to hide my blush. This was so embarrassing.
Oh, cute, blushy Dulari. Look at her. She's so cute. Oh my god, I feel like a parent looking at their children be like, oh my gosh, they're falling in love. Maybe they're falling in love. Feelings are developing. Oh. Anyways. I love that for them.
When I glanced at him again, I could see that he was blushing. He was a blushing mess like me.
Jula, there's one thing I always wanted to tell you.
What is it?
Does he call her Dula, like, for short for Dulari? That's cute.
He took a deep breath to prepare himself.
I always admired how you dealt with the blessing of your star. How you always tried to make the best of it. And every time I saw you struggling with it, I wanted to help you.
I continued to stare at the ground, still embarrassed.
But I had so many things to worry about back home that I ended up being the one you needed to help. His little exasperated face.
I raised my head only to see guilt on his face. That expression pierced my heart like a dagger.
I'm sorry for all of this.
Before I realized, tears started to go down my cheeks, and I had a sudden urge to hug him. And a sudden urge to hug him took over me.
Oh, hug. Oh. I love you guys. Oh my gosh. Oh.
He trembled inside my arms, as if he was trying not to cry too.
Oh, these sweet, precious babies.
It's not your fault. And for a moment, he continued to hold back his own tears. It's not your fault. No. It's not your fault. It's not your fault, Leon.
Oh, stop. It's not your fault. It truly is not your fault. You remember what I was saying earlier? Leon had his own things. Dulari has her own things. Their her own things, and obviously they were trying to connect in the best ways that they could. But sometimes you can't. You can't help other people when you also need to deal when you're dealing with a bunch of stuff, and you kind of have to figure that out. But it's always good to try and reach out to someone, say something to someone who you know would care about you. Don't feel burdened by sharing things that you could share with other people, and it can help you make it. Sorry, I can't speak right now. It can help you feel better at the end. And I'm glad that Dulari and Leon are experiencing this now. Sweet precious beans.
He hugged me back shyly. His voice was shaking, raw emotions deep hidden in his heart finally escaping after a long time.
How could you not hate me? All this time I never do anything right. I'm a terrible person. I'm selfish, distant.
You are my friend. That's more than enough.
Oh, I feel like I'm gonna cry. Okay, that's right, Dulari. Oh, I'm crying over friends. I'm crying over friendship, as per usual. Okay.
And finally, he let his voice escape as low sobs. His tears bloomed in his eyes, making a sorrowful spring, full of flowers and sadness. I cried too, to think that he was alone all this time. It hit unnervingly close to home. Let's stargaze again, at your place.
You're already my star, Dulari. Okay. Smooth. Stop it. Not me. Not me. Not, whatever. Not me being, whatever, reacting this way because of these cute children. Who are adults, but I will call them children because I am older than them. They are my children. I mean, not actually, but I feel like I just want to mother them. Look at them. My goodness. Goodness me. Wait, we gotta go back to that. You're already my star, Dulari.
The faint whisper tickled my ear.
My god, what a line. So smooth. I love you. I love you.
I felt my cheeks warming up, suddenly conscious of all the physical contact between us. I love you too.
No, really, I mean...
He sighed, almost ashamed. He parted from the hug, looking away like a guilty puppy.
I really love you.
Leon.
I'm sorry.
I couldn't hold back a chuckle. Oh, Leon. I leaned close to him. He refused to look at me. Leon, look at me. When our eyes slowly met again, I smiled. I love you too.
Oh my gosh, precious babies and their love confessions.
His eyes went wide like I had said the most unbelievable thing. But as he stared at my eyes, his face grew redder and redder, as if he could read all the loving words I held back in all those years of distance.
Oh my god, a super blush from Leon. Ugh.
Then he finally convinced himself. As our faces grew closer, we touched foreheads, smiling, our hands intertwined, the soft touch almost ticklish.
Oh, you guys are so precious.
My stomach was fluttering with hundreds of butterflies, but it wasn't uncomfortable. Rather, it was exciting. Leon's soul was mellow, full of dissipating melancholy. His sobs were still there, but they started to calm down as we kept each other close. This feeling continued to take over my senses as I forgot more and more about the world around me, as I thought, our lonely souls that wandered for so long, craving for company, for a place to belong in, finally found their place under the stars.
Wow. Let's go back to that real quick.
Our lonely souls that wandered for so long, craving for company, for a place to belong in, finally found their place under the stars.
That's so poetic. That writing is so good. I'm crying. Okay. That was so sweet. Oh my. Cut to the end. Cut to the credits, guys. Yeah, Helen. Oh, Helen, this is beautiful. I'm crying. Woohoo. Get that GUI. Okay, also music. I love the music also. More music. I love the doodles also. We love the sound effects. Oh, Jester. Thank you. I love this game. I think I might have to cry about this later because it's so sweet. It's so heartwarming. Jester, please. I don't have a voice for you.
Well then, is this not the happy fairy tale ending you wish for? Princess? I'm happy for you, of course. But you haven't forgotten about me, have you? You should never forget. Every time you see a mirror, you shall remember. I'm hiding in the darkness.
So does that mean I have to go to Dulari's room and look at the mirror? Does she have a mirror in her room? I don't know. Anyways, I'll save that for next time, but my goodness. Wasn't that just the sweetest thing? I mean, I liked Ezekiel's route. It was also very adorable and heartwarming. But I feel like Leon, like this ending with Leon was just so. It's like it was another. It was just like in a different way, so heartwarming and sweet and precious and honestly, just like beautifully executed. And there's a lot of emotions. I don't think I can really add commentary that is different from when I last talked about, like when I finished Ezekiel's route. All I can really say is that I'm really glad that Leon and Dulari really got to connect and like realize that both of them in their own ways were like lonely and felt isolated from other people in some ways, and they felt like they couldn't really reach out. But it's like you have all these things going on, your own worries and things, and honestly that clouds your judgment and thoughts of the time and makes you think that no one else would care if you reached out. But I'd like to say, and I'm so happy to see them feel this way and realize this, but like they like reach out to someone, reach out to your friend, reach out to someone who you know you can talk to. And again, that's great, because then you can share, you can feel better once you've talked it out with someone, even if nothing really else comes of it. At least that's happening. I also like that, Jalari in her own way, even though she's concerned about being a burden or like to her parents or just for existing, like because, her supposed curse of a like placed by the star that she's born under, she obviously shows how much she cares about the people that she loves and adores in her own way, and they can see that with her presence. Like she cares and she would do anything, and I think that's just a reflection of like also how she would also probably want to be comforted in her worries and anxieties and things. But it speaks to her very, very lovely soul and generosity and kindness. So I really love Dulari. She's such a sweet, precious child. I know she turned 20, so she's an adult now, whatever. But as older adults, quite a bit older adults, it's just so precious to see Dulari and Leon, and also Ezekiel, even though we didn't see him really this route. I was gonna say something more. Also, Dulari knows how to Dulari and Leon kind of know how to be in each other's presence and like comfort each other, and they're just by being present, like physically present. That's really good. I am happy that things seem to be going well with them, and they're happy, and that's all that really matters. And I'm gonna stop because I feel like I'm just rambling at this point because I love them. Anyways, please let me know what you think of Under the Stars. I really love this route, and the general story. I like the differences we have seen from this route versus Ezekiel's, Um, Question mark about the jester. I'm gonna have to figure that out for next time because I know there's a jester route. Something about a mirror, so I guess I gotta go look in a mirror. Probably Dulari's room. Probably. Is what I'm guessing. Um, but, anyways, maybe I'll have more concrete thoughts in a little bit. I'll just have to add them in the video description or something. But otherwise, please feel free to comment about the video. It's a wonderful job. I really love how everything's put together and I'm really enjoying it. So stay tuned for next time when we go interact more with the jester, hopefully, so that we can see exactly what happens. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please like the video if you haven't already. Um, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of Under the Stars, as well as any other indie visual novel games that I will be playing. Um, that's mostly what I do here on this channel. It's just really fun to see all these wonderful, talented people create these games, these stories, draw all the art, do all the stuff, collaborate with other people, and put it into a wonderful game and narrative. So that's all what my channel's all about. I just get to not mess around, but like I get to experience these wonderful narratives and mess around with the voices, rather, is probably what I wanted to say there. But, anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And I will see you next time. Bye!